welcome to my channel. My name is Sky. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to talk about Gemini Rising / Gemini Ascendant.
I've been cooking with my bros in the kitchen, whipping.
So your rising sign is the sign that starts off your entire birth chart. So it has an effect on how the other houses fall in your chart. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to just go over like the characteristics because you could just easily Google that, but I wanted to go over the houses in your birth chart as a Gemini rising. So I'm going to go over the first house, 4th house, 7th house, and 10th house. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comment down below and subscribe. So let's just get right into it. So one main trait about you guys is that you guys are really open-minded. And you guys are just really always open to learning new information. You want to absorb as much information as possible. And you're very, very knowledgeable on a lot of different things. You're very versatile. Versatile is probably like one of the main keywords when talking about Gemini. Yeah, like you can easily just jump from one topic to another topic. So and some people may say that you're kind of scatterbrained. I think that once you really do find a topic that you really love, you do stick to it. It's just so hard because there's so many topics, there's so much things that you could do, right? Why pick one thing? So let's talk about how you were born into the world, because when we talk about the ascendant, this is all of our lives first. So this includes our first breath, like, you know, how we came into. When you were born, you had a quick birth or you had like a very unexpected birth. So you may have been premature or just come at a time that nobody really planned, and you just, from the very beginning, like you just had your family on their toes right then and there. As kids, you guys do tend to ask a lot of questions, and you just like always the why, like why. Always really eager to learn information, and you're just really curious, a curious George. But if you were more of the quiet Gemini, all of this happened internally. Like you were very always asking questions, very curious about things internally in your mind. Talk about appearance. So your appearance can fluctuate a lot. Again, you're very versatile, so you can pull off a lot of looks, way more than every other sign. Like you can really pull off any look. I know Lady Gaga is a Gemini rising, and she just is always changing up her look, and she could pull it off. So in your life, your appearance can fluctuate a lot, and you can look like a completely different person if you change something. So if you wear glasses, you'll look completely different. If you cut your hair, you look completely different. Like just little things can make you look like a completely different person. The Gemini risings that I know personally, like they do not like being bored. You really are easily bored, and you just want to surround yourself with like people who are fun, things that are fun, interesting things. You need a lot of stimulation. So like you'll always like be maybe online playing a game, like doing different things. You always want to be stimulated. And many Gemini risings talk with their hands. I noticed, I'm not a Gemini rising, I talk with my hands, but a lot of Gemini risings talk with their hands, and you can kind of have like a lot of nervous tics, like you can bite your nails a lot or just kind of like touch your hair a lot. You won't be able to sit still like a lot, like I noticed that. Okay, so now the 4th house, and your 4th house is all about your household, your family, how you are behind closed doors, so your private self. So you guys have Virgo in the 4th house. So behind closed doors, even though people kind of perceive you to be an airhead and like just kind of all over the place, you're actually way more analytical than you appear to be. So you're definitely like a problem solver, someone who's always constantly thinking. Your mind is always working. And Virgo is a sign that rules over routine and order. So at home, you really need things to be a certain way. So you need things to be in order, and you like to plan and make sure that everything is like a specific way. So a lot of you guys love planning and love just making like lists and stuff like that. And you could kind of be a neat freak and have like having everything to be in the right spot at a specific way. Even if you're not a neat freak, you definitely just have like this mental order to you, and you definitely find peace and comfort in having things a certain way. And you definitely find like comfort in knowing that there's a certain routine and plan to your private life. So the 4th house is also about our upbringing. So you could have had a very planned and structured life at home. So your home life could have been really planned, organized, and kind of controlled. So I know a Gemini rising who came from like a very practical family. Like, we're always focused on work and just like going to school, getting the bills paid, all of like the practical things. So your parents could have been like people who were very organized and just very strict, or just did things a certain way, and they just always did it like that. So there's like a certain routine and structure to the way they did things, and they probably just did things like that over and over again. So that's nice that you always have people around you that are always out there helping you, but also it can create a lot of stress and anxiety, because at home you could always feel like you have to be perfect, like you have to be like a certain way, like you can't. So you can like feel trapped at home, like you can just face a lot of criticism, like you kind of feel like you have to be like a perfect cookie cutter person. And the 7th house is about our relationships, our close relationships. So how we connect and influence people in our life, how we relate to people, and how the type of people that we attract in our life. So Sagittarius in the 7th means that you're going to attract a lot of Sagittarius archetype people. So people with strong Sagittarius sun, moon, rising, or just heavy Jupiter or a heavy 9th house. So I actually have a heavy 9th house. And I tend to attract a lot of Gemini risings, or just a lot of people with Gemini. These people are going to be like philosophers, like people who have a lot of information, people who have strong opinions about things. And these people, you need people to keep up with you. So these are definitely people who are able to keep up with you. Very, very energetic people. Not boring people. You will die if you have boring people. That's probably like the biggest nightmare, to have someone who's boring, because you do tend to kind of be bored, get bored easily. So you need people who are going to keep up with you, people who are quick, fast paced. You are someone who has a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts, and Sagittarius is definitely someone who's going to be able to bounce those ideas around and dive into them and expand them, so you guys can have conversations for days. There's a lot of talking in your relationships. You need someone who you're able to communicate with. You like adventurous people and people who like to learn. So for a significant other, or for like a friend, you need people who are gonna want to like travel, people who are gonna want to like experience new things. Life, we do have to go through a couple of shitty relationships. So at first you can kind of find yourself with someone who's just really opinionated and like very kind of preachy almost, like their opinion is the only opinion that's right. They could just be constantly preaching to you their ideas and what they believe in, and just opinions and stuff like that. And it's to the point where it's really obnoxious. Like, they think that they know everything, like they think they know it all. It's kind of like that know-it-all person, and to you don't really like that. Like, you're definitely someone with a lot of ideas, but you don't attach yourself to your ideas. So that's kind of that. In your relationships though, you do move pretty quickly, because this is a fire placement. Sagittarius is fire, so you do kind of move pretty quickly through relationships. And if you get in a fight or something like that, like, you usually want to like just move on and just think more positive about it. You don't want to dwell on it. You want to move on. You want to just get over it and move on. So yeah, the 7th house is also how you form relationships. So you can form relationships pretty quickly. And Sagittarius is also about freedom, and it's about expansion. So if you feel like a relationship is getting stale, or if you feel like you outgrown this person in any way, like you're easy to move on. Like, you're not gonna stick with that same person. So I know a lot of Gemini risings that they go through a lot of like friendships. So they'll have like a best friend like every year. But it's just really because you outgrown that person. You now have new information. You're a new person. Goes with close friendships, significant others, like, so yeah. And lastly, the 7th house is also how we influence people. So having Sagittarius here, you really have a really big influence on people, and the people that you meet, you can have a really positive influence on people and be very encouraging and just very good influence. Okay guys, so let's move on to the 10th house. So the 10th house is all about our career, our public image, what we're here for, and our reputation. So your 10th house is in Pisces. So when the 10th house is in Pisces, this means that you usually have a lot of confusion when it comes to what you want to do in life and your career path. You're someone who has so many interests, so many things that you like, so many subjects. So a lot of times it's hard for you guys to pick just one, and you could be really confused in what you want to do. So when you go to college, you might be like transferring majors a lot, or just really not know what you want to do. And for you, your career is not meant to be mundane and rigid. Like, that's gonna really bore you. Pisces is the sign that has to go with the flow. So you really have to take a leap of faith and just jump and just go with it, see how it goes, even if it's scary. So again, this is not like the practical career path. So in today's society, it could definitely be hard for you to pick something because everything has to be done a certain way. You know, you have to go to school, get a job, you know, there's just like one direction. So Pisces is the most sympathetic and the most empathetic, and one of the most sensitive signs of the zodiac. So you can work with children or animals. I know Gemini rising who loves animals and very, very passionate about animals. So you could work as a veterinarian, you could work as a teacher, but just anything that helps humanity or helps other beings, because you really just want to help like souls that are suffering. And yeah, so maybe you could even be like someone who's a rescue, like a dog rescue, or works at some type of like animal shelter or something like that. One main thing about Pisces is all about imagination. So you can work in something that has to do with creativity and imagination, so art, music, writing. You really have a lot of vision, like you're a visionary. So bringing these visions to life can really impact society in a really amazing way. Also fantasy and like diving into a whole new world. So I know a Gemini rising who loves cartoons and anime and video games as well. So that's all about just diving into a whole new world. And also something having to do with spirituality, because Pisces is all about spirituality and intuition. So using your intuition in your career is also going to benefit you. So you could be a tarot card reader, or just someone who just is really spiritual, like a spiritual guru or something like that. So the thing about the 10th house is that this house is the house that takes the most time. It's not going to come easy. It takes time to build. And for you guys are so used to overthinking and overanalyzing, and you'll find that in your career, the more you do that, the less you succeed. And you also come from a family that's really traditional, as we went over before. So again, it's all about getting, going to school, getting a job, all about the practical things. So venturing off to do something artistic is definitely hard at first. Really get inspired by other people and just think that you want to do something even though you really don't want to do, especially now in times of social media. Like, you can just kind of get inspired by someone else, like on social media, and just think that you want to do that and just completely go after that, but then afterwards realize that you really don't want to do it, or that you're not as passionate as you thought you were. So you can kind of be confused a lot, like kind of think that you want to do something and go after it, like maybe make a blog just because out of nowhere, because you saw someone else do it and you got inspired. But it's really important with this placement to really listen to your intuition and what you feel, like what really you feel you have to offer to the world, and go after it. Again, you have to go with what you really, really intuitively think you need. And I know sometimes it can feel like you're like doing so many things and you're pushing so hard and like you're just not getting anywhere, so that can be really, really frustrating. But at the end of the day, once you really find what you want to do and once you really go for it, you have an ability to really bring healing to the world, because Pisces is a healer. So you really have the ability to heal people through your art, through whatever you're doing. Again, so yeah, this is really a lot about empathy too. Having empathy for other people. You're really someone who is able to put yourselves into other people's shoes and just help them through whatever problems they're having, like heal them, and really help them escape from their everyday mundane lives. Because yeah guys, that is pretty much it. Anything that has to do with art, creativity, imagination, empathy, like anything that has to do with helping and healing others is going to be the right path for you guys. Yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Bye.